and then they just go Bard when Key's just been an animal on Bard when I saw him playing it earlier today. It doesn't really make that much sense from TSM's draft because they're going to get the Alistar, but Ever's just going to get like Bard and they're going to get another strong jungler like Elise.
And especially connected with Kalista, it's such a strong 2v2 lane that I'm pretty sure TSM is going to look to lane swap, but Ever is going to know that they want to lane swap, and it's just gonna depend which team actually gets what they want, and if Ever gets 2v2, I think it's gonna be really hard for TSM to even do anything starting from the start of the game.
And that's something we've actually seen a lot today. Doublelift and Yellowstar have been struggling in the 2v2 matchups. They're not really on the same page. Doublelift could go for that Ezreal if he wants to keep going for the blue build. And here's the Nautilus top that we've spoken so much about. Kikis, it must make you excited.
It's still possible for a flex pick. Like, some people actually played support still. It's not that often, but it's still a good thing to catch someone off guard because Fiora is still open. So, for example, TSM wants to pick Fiora now. They want to leave their mid lane for last pick. They can actually pick something else in the Fiora and just send Nautilus bottom.
Before I talk about the Fiora, I mean, you former jungler moved to top lane this year, and we see the Graves locked in. How much has the jungle changed now? You know, from your opinion, because you're formerly a jungle main.
I mean, in my prime, I guess you can say, because we were very good at the time. I was in the Cinderhawk meta, so I was playing Tongs before, I'm playing tanks now, so I'm just like tank player overall, but for now it just seems there's a lot of carry junglers that with efficient farming and a lot of smart play, like balancing between ganks and getting the minions. A lot of champions are strong with the items like Graves, Nidalee, and they just can carry the games by itself in the jungle actually, and then I just played tank on top lane.
Yeah, that seems to be the case. It's working for G2, of course. Darshan, Fiora locked in for Hornsa and the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kog'Maw went all the way to the 3-4, and something you usually see in TSM drafts is they've been early picking Lee Sin all day, which kind of leaves them like they're really physical heavy and they're like starving for that magical damage, but Kog'Maw kind of fills that void in. And I've never really seen Kog'Maw go to the 3-4, so I think Ever almost wants them to pick Kog'Maw, and like champions like Nautilus just deal really well, and especially with like the Bard and Lux, they just have an insanely good comp for dealing with Kog'Maw, so I think they're going to have no problem catching them out. And even though TSM got the Fiora pick, which does insanely well splitting against Nautilus, I feel like they're going to try and group up and team fight again with the Kog'Maw, and that's where Ever is going to do really well. And if TSM can split with the Fiora, I think that's their ticket to win the game so far.
Well, they couldn't split earlier today when they played ESC Ever, and it was because they wouldn't split and play the map that they ended up losing at the Baron pit. So pressure on Team Solo mid. The Lux and the Bard round out ESC Ever's team composition. And what is this telling you now, Kigas?
With the team composition, I think with how, I can say messy the games were before, because there were a lot of people getting caught, a lot of fights and stuff. I really dislike the Kog'Maw pick actually, because I'm pretty sure he's gonna die a few times this game and he's just gonna fit if Ever plays properly actually. So they have a good team come against it. They have Nautilus ulti, he just pops ulti on his head, and then it's not much actually. Zilean can do something, but I still think it's not good.
If somebody gets caught, you've got Zilean to revive them. If that's something we've learned from today. We're not seeing a huge amount of Zilean in EU, maybe only 1 or 2 players, but I think a little bit more popular in NA. Do you like this in a Protect the Cog comp?
I think Zilean's probably the one pick that can save him. Doesn't matter if you get caught, you just get ultied and you're back at full life. And I think Zilean just the ultimate bait if you never play against them. So honestly, pretty good pick by TSM here to kind of try and round out the team comp, because they're going to want to try and group up and team fight with the Cog Zilean. And that's actually a pretty good combo. It's similar to having a Lulu Cog, but it's Zilean Cog, he just revives you and speeds you up instead. So not bad.
To be honest, with the setups I see, I think it's actually going to be, W dies once time, Zilean ultis him, he's gonna die second time. And then
that's also
sure.
So, Kikis, I've asked every other analyst today to make a prediction on who they think will win off the picks and bans. Will it be ESC Ever or Team Solo Mid?
I think Ever's got this.
Okay, so game 1 to Ever. Darshan?
I'm just going to go for TSM. I'm just going to try and keep the NA dream alive.
All right, so split opinions on the analyst desk. The fans at home are heavily in favor of TSM with 2/3 of the vote. You can see some nervous players on stage. Gentlemen, thank you for helping me pick some bands. We'll be back after the game. For now, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, a new TriCast will take us into the final series of the day.
The greatest old school ULCS caster, then the greatest current ULCS caster, and the greatest
Crepo.
And the greatest caster in the future.
Oh, okay.
Okay, he's coming after your job, man.
Apparently,
you better watch it.
I don't mind. He has a long way to go.
It's got a long way to go. Well, speaking of long ways to go, it's another best of 3 here. This time TSM up against EVA. They surely can't make the mistakes they made this morning.
I mean,
I'm not too sure about that one.
They can make him, but yeah. How much gold is enough?
The irony is, I remember this morning, it was like, do we need the Korean translator? Do we need Susie on stage? No way. They just got the pentacles, like, they can't throw this. You don't need it. It's okay, you don't need to come down. It's like, oh, Christ, someone find Susie. Yeah, so...
it was a rough game.
It was a rough game. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It's EVA up against TSM. TSM just gone through a grueling best of 3 against Origin. Literally throwing the game back and forward at each other. It was like a match of tennis without the rackets, and just basically who.
And you also don't throw anything in tennis. That would be kind of weird if you start throwing stuff in tennis.
handball maybe.
He doesn't know what handball is.
Denmark
from the UK.
isn't big on handball, right?
His feet.
We invented handball.
Foot to ball.
Yeah, you guys look like you invented handball.
Hey, I mean, we are the great. Well, actually, we kind of suck at it now.
To be fair,
we used to be good.
We invented football, we suck at that. We invented rugby, we suck at that. We invented cricket, we suck at that. I mean, we're just not very good.
So the lesson is, don't invent anything, because you'll be bad at it. Just copy what everyone else is
Hey man,
doing.
we have Kasing. We have Kasing right now. He's our shining beacon. But right, okay, let's talk about the team comps. Let's talk about the game. What do you guys predict? Obviously, we heard what the pros had to say on the desk.
Right.
What do the analysts think?
We're big fans of the Bard-Lux combo, especially. So much pick potential also into this low mobility AD carry. He has to stand still to machine gun his way. Bard is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, the Bard Callisto lane just overall has incredibly strong trading, which kind of will force Doublelift and Yellowstar to swap or just do the go into lane to mind game almost, because it's such clear swap away on the side from DSM that it may actually mind game by just going bot. And Ever looks to kind of buy into that mind game because they set up the swap themselves. They will find Hanser here. Look for the double stun.
Well, I think you're just going to walk away from that one, Sven.
Don't look for the double stun.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't go greedy. We saw some interesting plays from these guys in the last match.
So we've seen this before, where one team in a lane swap is invading aggressively and then starting on their own weak side. So you can see Graves on your minimap is starting on his own red buff, even though his dual lane is on top side. And because you invade in and the other team does not, you stop them from doing a camp. Yep. You actually push them out, and you will now get 3 buffs forever. And Ares here, he's there. Greediest player I've ever seen for buffs. He will literally Graves ulti for buffs later on.
Yeah, he Graves ultied Krugs earlier today. I know I love Krugs and all, but to you use a Graves ultimate, there's a line, and he crossed it. The good thing about 3 buffs right now,
oh, look at this.
Essentially is though, they're reswapping it around.
Yellowstar is going top to defend together with Hanser and also secure the buff for Sven. Double on his own.
He's face checking.
Oh, he might not get away with this one. That's going to be the exhaust down. Key's in trouble. Here he has some very strong performances in the first game, but he will be first blood giving up. It's going to go across the Haunter, and now Loken's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get caught out. Can Loken even get away from this? This could be a double. It's a disaster for ESC EVA. And this is just like game 1. They got a great start, but can they not throw it away this time?
Yeah,
please?
TSM do our job for us. We don't even have to explain the counter to 3 buffing because they just showed it to us. Completely catch Key by surprise, because he just assumes that somebody will be max alone in the jungle and not a support top laner dual lane there.
But this was not even supposed to be a good play, because Crazy technically could just instant TP'd bot lane. Doublelists were pushing the lane alone. Crazy could have TP'd in instantly, picked up I don't know how much CS, got almost like 2 levels ahead probably of Hanser. Instead, he was trying to run top to save his teammates. Already got caught out.
But he's just like so flabbergasted because
no
team
he's surprised.
This is the first time I've ever seen something similar like this the entire season, pretty much. The point I was trying to make earlier is that like a 3 buff kind of gets nullified by tempo loss, because the time you spend clearing all those camps, you kind of get behind in the lane swap in terms of tempo, and that's why generally you don't see it punished. But this is the first time I've actually seen one of these aggressive 3 buff attempts really punished by TSM, and Yellowstar with a good flash combo there to seal the deal.
Still, I mean, what we normally would have seen was Graves would just skip his blue buff and just walk straight into enemy jungle to pick up another red buff and then give blue buff to Lux at like level 5. She has a great laning phase then with the blue buff spam, and then he goes top anyway. But it gets, as you said, completely countered and surprised. I'm still not sure it's a good play overall because of Crazy getting the buff, but because they got the 2 kills,
TSM's
it's a good...
1,000 goal ahead.
Yeah. Because
No,
they
I
got
get you,
the
I get
kills,
you.
it is a good play. But if you just like do it 10 games in a row, I'm not sure it's going to pay off.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, Doublelift was getting free farm as well, but we do see a 4 stack down the bottom here. 3 members of ESC ever here. They're going to go down towards Crazy. Crazy's getting pinned out. Haunter's running distraction duty, but they couldn't get the kill, and Yellowstar took a lot of tower damage there. But they're still in a 4v3 situation, so they still have the advantage, and it looks like they may try and get a second bite this Cherry.
Yeah, Ever playing with fire. They're baiting a 4-man dive instead of like trying to hide under the tower to at least hang on there.
Yellowstar's just regenning. He's just regenning. TP's coming down. This is going to be Haunter joining the party. It's a 5-man pile-on. This time, Key's going to try and block out the damage, but they do manage to get 1 in there. A good trade. A 1-for-1 so far, but TSM will get out with the 2. But that's still very clumsy.
Well, I mean, Team Solo Meta are not afraid to pull off some crazy plays here. First, changing the lane swap to counter the double buff, get 2 kills. Then set up a dive bot lane here, even though Tempt had TP as well. And it would always be a 4v5 because Kalista is stuck in the top lane right now. And there's so much CC, like one guy who's tanking the tower who missed positions and he dies. Like Hans in this case does go down because he gets snared in the very end. But
these bombs though.
It's still enough, man. Beautiful double spot.
We've seen fairly little Zilean, and just the power of Zilean on these dives, because it's so, usually you can at least juke a skill shot, you know, maybe left, right, but the AoE of those bombs, Bjergsen just places them in the same place, and they will proc, you know, the AoE exposure on multiple members, and that just wins TSM that dive completely, because Kalista was isolated farming in the top lane, so TSM needed to get a solid advantage from that to make it worth their time.
Only other option would have been just put Hans at top lane with his TP. Problem is the lane was pushing towards Loken, and he would be a level ahead of him, could actually be a bit of a bully. In that 1v1, that's why Team Solo Mid said, let's dive bot lane instead. Reset the whole thing, get the 2v2 with some early kills. Hans has 2 kills on his Fiora. I mean, he's going to be a massive split pushing threat. Nautilus can't do anything 1v1 against him later on.
Well, let's see how that reflects on the game. You know, we've seen enough of GBM playing Zilean over in America, one of the first guys to bring it out in the NALCS. So
Nuke Dog as well.
Bjergsen looked at that. Well, yeah, Nuke Dog did do it, but GBM did it first, didn't he?
Yeah. But it's also classic Bjergsen, you know. Look what everyone else is playing, going like, oh, you play Zilean?
Well, I mean, to be fair, they banned all 3 champions against him, so he was focused. Doublelift playing with fire there, coming out, but he's got himself that blue buff, so we'll see how much pressure he can put down on this one. Yellowstar's just above.
He's just hiding in the lanes.
Sitting there hiding in the bottom.
Eating some grass.
Well, they're trying to, I mean, I guess they're trying to bait him in, but...
I don't think you want to make that bait at this point if you're a Karma, though, against that lane.
Danger play.
There's one thing in the bottom lane, though. Hansa is actually pretty far behind in experience. We talked about how Crazy could just TP bot lane when Team Solo Mid made that move on the red buff, and he picked up quite a lot of waves. So despite him dying on the tower, he's still 2 levels up, which is massive because it means the Fiora is obviously going to take that much longer to really become anything.
Well, considering he got no vision really above the top, and Ares pretty much went all across the jungle, Hansa was definitely playing with fire, but Ares didn't fancy going for that crazy kill. Rift Herald, though, will get started off with TSM here.
Yeah, Crazy misses out on the big trade, though. That dredge line now connecting and going to the wall means that his Riptide would miss. The auto attack really didn't do much, so Hansu could have been there, could have left that trade at like half HP. That would have put him in dive range of Ares, so it's a little things that count. Bjergsen.
Not quite enough to finish it off. That's risky stuff from Bjergsen, trying to go for the double bomb stun, but he will get out alive, and Tempt using that ulti, as I remember good old Froggen saying many a time, use it on cooldown.
Yeah, use it on cooldown and try and snatch some unlucky raptors on the way in. I apologize to your jungler, you know. Oops.
Oops, sorry, that just missed shot there.
You know how that goes.
This is the setup here. Now, Sven and Yellowstar want to go for this. Crazy does have TP, as does Haunter, so this could get very messy very quickly.
Oh, this is too risky. I mean, there's a level 6 Nautilus coming in with ulti as well. If you don't instant-kill a target, they have to go for just key here almost.
Well, there's the flash. There's the pulverize. Headbutt yet to follow, and they're already backing out of this one. They realize this is a danger play. Look at the 2 mid laners coming up the river. They're going to join in. They may actually catch on towards each other. Key does manage to get on towards Yellowstar. There's going to be the ulti catching on towards him. He's going to have to back away from this one. Doublelift now. He's the front line. That's a disaster. The exhaust goes down. He's in trouble. Temp comes around the side. You can see Sven Skeren trying to make a play on towards him. Bjergsen, oh, he misses the stun. That's Doublelift surely going down. Has got the ulti down on towards him from Bjergsen. Will come back, but there's no way out for him. He's going to get locked down. Doublelift will drop, and it's Ever that come out on top.
But we got to go back all the way to the start of the play. We'll get there, though. Let's watch Sven Skeren right now.
Ah, he can safeguard the yellow star.
Oh, that laser catches them both, though. Eric can jump with this. Key goes in. That's horrible, horrible stuff. So well set up. Yellow star. Are they going to catch him out? The ulti doesn't quite do enough.
Oh, he can journey right here. He can journey over the next wall and then do a Q auto.
His journey, he used it a moment ago. He moves, I think it's on cooldown.
Come up there. But it all starts with the play. They're setting up the dive. They're talking about the dive. And while Yellowstar's like, okay, guys, 3, 2, Svensken, why are you doing Grump? Svensken finished off the Grump. Yellowstar flashes in, and then they decide not to go. Watch what's here. Svensken is still finishing up that Grump. He has stuff on cooldown right now. And then Loken gets hit into the wall, and now they hesitate.
Now, Hornster had TP the whole time as well, by the way, throughout this.
Yeah,
just chose not to go.
The problem also with this play is Hans's level 5. He has like 0 impact if he actually TPs in. He wants to just sit and farm. Temp does have to flash away. Look at Crazy here, and he's hooked with the Nautilus straight into the small wall, so he actually doesn't get double lift.
Yeah.
Ends up making it a little bit more difficult forever, but definitely some miscommunication. Sven is greeting a little bit for that Grump.
Yeah, and miscommunication on the side of TSM for sure. Like, Yellowstar not sure if he should join the fight or leave it. And while on Ever, they're all on the same page. Temp collapsing inwards, using that shield to kind of help him and his teammates. Key with some really solid Bard moves right here overall. And then the chase right here, the double laser. That actually gives Aris enough mana, I think, for the level up. I don't know why he doesn't ulti here. Yeah, because he dashes in. I think he doesn't have enough mana for ulti. So he waits, gets the level up right now. And now he can go for the chase, and Yellowstar almost drops there.
Nice little flash from Crazy as well to dodge the double bomb. So Bjergsen went for it and would have turned that fight very differently. But 4 kills to 3. Ever proving once again that they are very much up for a fight, a brawl. And TSM, we were talking about it on the desk at the start of the show many hours ago. You guys may have slept in between then. There was, I know a lot of the Americans went to bed as soon as the game finished.
Hey,
they'd be back awake and going, what? ESC Ever? Is this a replay?
Here at IEM, we cater to all viewers, you know. If you're in China, you were asleep at the start, or in America right now, we run so long
global.
today that we global.
Full global, but yeah, do not adjust your sets. This is, once again, TSM versus Ever. It's a best of 3 this time around, but we were saying, going back to my point, we've gone around the houses. Going back to my point, we were saying that TSM have the 5-man brawl, but Ever proved many times they will skirmish all across the map. And while they even tried it against RNG, didn't quite work out so well for them. There's Key getting caught out, but there's no follow-up because Bjergsen was already caught out by Key.
Just a great ulti from Key, avoiding the double bomb coming by stunning Bjergsen there, so he's able to escape. But yeah, I mean, Ever normally is a team who actually likes to play this 1-4 split push, but they've been picking Nautilus quite a bit and opting more into big team fights. Obviously, it did give them a win over Team Solomid earlier.
The Nautilus is kind of a product of the Bard pick as well, because it just works so well together. Either the Bard ulti into lockdown for the Nautilus to close the gap in these team fights, or just Dredge Line being used, or Depth Charge, and then you can follow up with any of these Bard spells, and then they had a TF2 earlier in the game. They just synergize so well with their CCs, and very rarely do they overlap. Hansa, on the other hand, though, here in the bot lane, in that plane and top lane, yes, that was good from Ever, but he managed to close the gap right now, back on even CS, back on even levels too, so he's back in the game, and that was the cost of that play from ESC Ever.
And that really opens up a lot for Team Solomid, because even though they don't split push that well, it is a big part of how they can win the game, because you have a Fiora pick into Nautilus. It's where we got to see if this team has learned anything. The coaching staff has been watching the games. Bjergsen said in the interview they could learn and fix it.
I mean, if you go back to the first game, they were attempting the split push, but they ended up having to double stack it.
Well, and then they went, okay,
and they realized this isn't going to work. Let's go try force a Baron, and then that just went horribly wrong for them.
They should have learned, and they should just keep Hansa in the side lane for as long as possible. Only let him join a fight if he can get like a perfect flank and there's nothing he can gain 1v1. Otherwise, there's no reason to move him in there, because it means Nautilus can just team fight as well.
Yeah, at this point, Hanser has to be the one dictating the tempo of the game. Get back to it, because Double Lift's going to walk into the rush.
Double Lift. Well, I mean, he was the original face checker, so it's only right that he goes and does it. I mean, he didn't even get a chance to face check. They just went at him before.
I mean, we're keeping it old school today. Face checking, double lift, D-Man is on the desk. I mean, we're keeping
only
it very
team
old school.
fighting, barely any split pushing, couple Baron throws, making it easy.
Just keeping it fresh for the old guy. Oh, Ares, okay. Bjergsen. Oh, nice catch there. He does manage to flash out. Tried to dash, but Horns has followed through. Rift Arrow on him, but that's going to be tricky for them. But he does get the kill, and they're going to allow him to escape because they can just wrap around And Tempt wasn't really close enough to help out.
And this is actually important for TSM as well. Yellowstar's having a good game because the last few games he's been overextending, dying a lot early in a failure attempt to peel.
Yeah.
He is playing Alistar. It's a little bit easy mode to actually, you know, get out of fail free card with that ultimate. But he's still 0-0-5 right now.
Svenskeren trying to set up for something on Tempt here. Yellowstar around the side. This is a three-pronged attack, and Tempt is reading it like a book.
Still going with his tower though. Can't really. I guess you can actually ult the wave, so that's
maybe
good.
You can just do that. That is what
that
you
works.
can do with.
Apparently, you can wave Clipper Lux ulti. Today we learned. All of us learned that today.
I mean, definitely. I know you're a bit rusty, mate. You haven't seen it for a while, so.
Yeah, Lux. I think we've seen a bit in LPL, a bit in Korea. Not too much in Europe.
Where's Sushi when you need him?
Yeah, we need sushi back.
Sushi? I mean,
I could use some sushi.
Maybe you need some sushi? I don't know. Not really fancying it here, I've got to be honest. We're a little far away from the sea. Just anyway, Svenskeren gets himself the red buff. Now, is he going to continue? He is. There's going to be the Yellowstar flash. There's the pulverize. Logan's going to get focused. He gets exhausted down. Double lift comes in. There's the damage. The second shot follows through nicely. Svenskeren might get taken out here. He will by Tempt. But it's a 2-for-1. There's the revive. And that is why you have a Zilean.
Yeah, and this is another way the Zilean pick actually makes a lot of sense for TSM, because one of their main failures in the last game versus Origin was that Svenskeren was diving in too deep, too far all the time. But he can actually go for that forced play because he will at least have a Zilean ulti reviving him on the way out.
The whole time we thought it was for double lift, but we realized it's for Sven diving too deep. There we go. They've realized how to fix their problems. It's just get a sixth player.
He's working really well together with Yellowstar. This is like the second or third time we see a double-pronged attack or a follow-up on each other, or at least they have some synergy. They're not executing it perfectly, but at least they're moving together. They're placing down vision. They're becoming a roam squad instead of just resorting to this early 5-man death ball.
And while the pick and ban phase from Team Solo Mid tends to be a little bit predictable with some of the early picks with Alistar and Lee Sin, it is the comfort picks for these two players who have been struggling before. So it's super important they get them. We see the play here. Ever is not in a position to fight because Yellowstar gets a good flank, and in mid lane, Tempt is still trying to run and join his team. He doesn't have a good position. You can see him here on the top of your screen. He's not really in the fight yet until now. And then it's too late because it's also too easy for Bjergsen to line up the ulti and just save whoever is low enough to actually die.
I mean, it was a risky engage. You saw double if you used the flash to engage, which is very, very risky on a Kog'Maw. It's going to be down for a while. Now, the question is, did Ever notice that flash in between the clump of team fights?
Most likely, we would assume. But I'm not sure they can actually punish it unless they catch him out and Bjergsen is not there. But the thing is, with Team Solo Mid's lineup, it's 1 man pushing and 4 men moving together. So when you play against a pure team fighting composition, Zilean is just so good. He's extremely bad against split pushes because then he can't really do anything. Against team fight and pick potential, he shines.
Yeah. Especially when the backline likes to clump or just the zone he offers. Very often it's just not even the bombs being used, it's just the threat of the bombs being used that just puts you in such a shift as you approach that team fight.
And it's important to bring protection when you go deep. That's how it is.
Really? Okay, that's
Keep going, just want to add it in.
Today I learned, I believe, was the phrase that Mitch used earlier, and I've just learned something else there. So, but Svenskeren...
You just learned that?
Well, okay. I learned it a while ago.
We might have a few mini demons in the crowd.
Let's not go into that. Yeah, let's not go into that one. But anyway, keeping it clean. It's a family show, boys. It's a family show. TSM, we probably lost quite a few people with that, but we're on our own here at the moment. But as it is...
That's fine. We just still have each other.
We do. 7-4's the score, guys. That's where it is. League of Legends, 3K difference.
Baron, Rift Herald.
Before I start throwing some Counter-Strike terminology in here.
He's roaming.
Let's get down to it.
Hansa will get a tower. Bjergsen is just here to push Crazy away. Ares might look for a kill.
He just used his ulti on Bjergsen. That's a little presumptuous when they knew Hansa was so close by. Hansa immediately puts the damage down onto Ares. And, you know, we said they like to fight, but that was a little reckless. And that is going to be an easy mid turret. They didn't finish it off, and why is he so? Because they would have been caught out there. Double lift. That's enough, though. I mean, that's shredded down. It's just
TSM still, and Bjergsen at Zilean, when the depth shards gets used or the Fates call for the knockup, they still have that protection from the Zilean ulti to prevent that.
Yes. The problem is...
Why are you laughing while you say that, Crepo?
Well, he hasn't built double penetration yet, so it's all right. It's when that starts happening, that's when you have problems. No, carrying on.
Farming the bot lane, farming minions, and rending.
Yep.
Yep. That's some deep stuff.
Some Callista mechanics here. When you last hit a minion, you gain gold, which you use to buy items.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah, and now he can go back to base and buy
So
items.
much has changed since I left.
Oh, no, he didn't actually go back. He's hiding. He's setting up a trap.
They're setting up for the Bard ulti here, which is actually down, so they're not setting up for the Bard ulti here.
I'd be running right now. Okay, no, he's all right. He's got Kate coming around, like you say, the Bard ulti, because I can see Svenskeren coming in. Bjergsen will finish off that middle turret. So, their third one of the game. Ever so far, not got themselves a single turret.
And we
Start
see
to really fall behind in lane.
Yeah, we see what's happening to these teamfight comps when they actually get split pushed on. It's incredibly hard to get out of that lock. Happened a lot in Season 2 too. A couple of teams right there that really wanted to
M5?
teamfight M5 for example, and then there was a really good split pushing team out there as well.
That farmed a lot.
Yeah, countered it. It's really hard to get out of that because Crazy is constantly under pressure here from Haunter, and the remaining members, their engages will become so forced that it's very easy for TSM to react to it.
So as long as Team Solomid sticks to split pushing, this game will just keep going the way it's going now.
And that's one way of saying,
I mean,
the camera guy's that bored we're watching the Baron animation coming in.
It's a beautiful animation.
Look,
people work long and hard.
I don't see the Rift Tail die very often like that, and then Baron comes in.
We may see an actual fight. Here we go. Loken, no, going to run away because Key is there in position. Look at Ares lingering in the darkness, in the reeds, waiting to pounce.
Both middle laners have teleport to join this bot lane party. This is Forgiven's worst nightmare.
There's no
when
party.
You play against 4 teleports.
No party, no one invited. It's just going to be Haunter and Crazy continuing to go at it in that top lane. And it's going to become a point where Haunter can just cause some serious problems, and Ever are going to have to deal with him eventually.
I mean, once we go a little bit later in the game, he's going to switch his Titanic Hydra for Ravenous Hydra, which is better against these late game tanks. And then with the extra sustain, a lot of S's in there suddenly.
It's easy for you to say.
Then there's nothing Crazy can do other than TP in and actually try and teamfight. If he can push the lane out, he can TP in behind and get a 5-on-5 where he doesn't lose a tower. That's almost the only way for him to have an impact in the game.
Yeah, we're looking at flanks really for both these teams to really open up the teamfights. Obviously, TSM just want to protect double it right here. They'll start going in. Ulti misses. This is big for TSM.
Yeah, he's going to have to get pulled away, but they're still trying to fight it. I'm not sure TSM could turn it up at any time here. Haunter goes in, the Grand Challenge goes down. Keith does manage to get himself away. Svenskeren, he wants to die, but nobody's killing him. Now they do, and that's the Bjergsen ultimate wasted. Now Yellowstar's going to get focused on Ares doing the damage. The laser catches on towards one. He will get a kill. Ares pushes in, and Loken finally will go down. It's a double for Bjergsen, but they're still going in. Captain surprise! Oh, he gets key as well. Touchdown.
So
a 4-for-3.
Messy
stuff.
Fight.
The fight is won by Team Solomid, but I feel like we're going back to the first game of the day, where again, Team Solomid can technically win without ever team fighting properly and just honestly running 4-man and then split push. They opt into another team fight, which gives the comeback mechanics possibly forever. Even though the bot ulti misses, look how close this fight is, because this is where Crazy has an impact. It's where the Lux can really shine. Early ulti used on Sven to keep him alive. Crazy now joins in, super tanky.
Yeah, we see the difference though in the approach to these teamfights. TSM doesn't really play around their cooldowns very well. So when Bjergsen's bombs are down, TSM is still walking forward. Whereas if you look at Ever, they're moving back and forward really well. But this double bomb right here, that is a turning point. Otherwise, ESC Ever end up winning that fight despite whiffing a complete Bard ulti, which is really rough. Yes, double goes with the outplay. He flashes over the Lux binding. Obviously, don't get hit then and goes for 1 kill into Catherine surprise for the second. But this is the difference between TSM's approach in teamfights and Ever's. Ever's is actually cleaner. They keep winning these fights from behind by using their CCs and at least playing around it.
So don't take the fights. I mean, that's the strange thing.
Yeah, but I think TSM were genuinely surprised that ESC Ever took that fight. I think they just like, we got this flank, we've got the perfect move, we're going to catch them out. Speaking of people being caught out, Bjergsen's going down. He has got himself the ulti. He's going to try and get as close to that tower as possible. He's got no flash, though, and it will be a kill. Now, what will they get off the back of this? There's no turret still yet for Ever, but they're going to go for an early Baron.
Yeah, they might force a fight here. There's no TP for Haunter. He's stuck in the bottom lane.
They could catch 10 tower.
TSM is behind him, though. I don't think they've seen him here.
Oh, they don't know where they are, so
they're going to sneak in.
Split up.
They're waiting for Haunter. Haunter's running across. Now they see Haunter coming in. There's Yellowstar catches down 3 members with the pulverize. This Svenskeren goes in, tries to secure it, but the Baron turns on him. Now Yellowstar's in all sorts of trouble, and Haunter only just arrived. And sadly, just don't have the damage. Now there's a 15 seconds on Bjergsen, and he has teleport. If Haunter can delay them enough here, double lift arrives. Now he can try and put the damage down, but that's a great catch by Crazy. He's got no flash. He used it in the last fight, but look at the damage he's putting down. Gets himself the double. Can he get the quadra? I think he just did with the Cathian surprise. No, Haunter stole it away. What a scumbag.
Oh, Runan so good that double lift and immediately buys another one. Then he saw Runan's
another one.
Wins that fight. But a couple of big things here. Q getting used by Tempt is really big here. Then I think Flash here comes out from Loken to maybe dodge the kick at least, or somehow, because he gets out of that fight, he doesn't get Ares kicked on top of him. That wins the fight for ESC ever up until this point. But the turn here overall from TSM was really impressive. It resulted in 4 kills. But we missed some things. People are dead. They're still dead.
They're still dead. They just tried to dive another one.
So the big part of it, in that fight, when you saw Yellowstar go in, get the pulverized down, Double Lift was about to come into the river, and then was like, I'm going to go all the way around, which is why we saw him coming into the fight so late. Which actually worked out so well for his favor because he got himself the triple. Calculated double lift, or baited, as I'd say in Counter-Strike.
It is still game 1 all over again. We go from Team Solomid winning the early game, being in full control. We're about to say, I mean, this game technically couldn't go wrong. You got great late game scaling, the Fiora, double lift, as well the Zillion to protect. And then we get into these crazy, crazy team fights where Ever actually has the chance to win. Obviously now there's still sick late game comp from Team Solomid, but it just makes it easier for Ever to do something.
And here we're sitting at 26 kills in 25 minutes. So the game is definitely delivering in terms of entertainment value.
But for TSM, when you need a triple Rudons hit to kill 3 guys at once, then you have issues. You know, that's not your win condition in teamfights when frontline Kog'Maw has to 1v4.
And that's the thing. It might not lose them the game, but we said the same in day one, in game 1, day 1. Day 1.
Today's day 1.
It is still day 1.
It's been a long day.
It's been a very long day.
I mean, we are, what, I don't know how many hours. We've been here at 8 a.m. It's now 9:30. So we're 13 hours in, boys. We're doing well. And this is the start of a best of 3. It's only going to get better from here.
Hey, shout out to the fans. There's people here that have been queuing up this morning until like when we arrived.
From 7 a.m.
When we arrived here at 8 a.m., the plaza was like filled with some, really nice fans overall. And they waited nicely. Proper queuing from the Polish.
Proper queuing. Very English queuing. Svenskeren, that's not so good, but he will get out. Loses half his health, though, and then we'll see
what
the cooldowns. Ever can do from this. He needs to get a little bit of regen on that. But like TSM in the driving seat at the moment. They're the ones being aggressive. They are being this clump. Fiora is split pushing. Everything is going to plan,
for now,
barring the 11 deaths.
For now. Again, we could remove probably 6 or 7 of those kills forever and just say they should never really have happened. I like the change from Hansa. We talked about it. Get the Ravenous Hydra. Better for killing tanks late game. And my voice is giving up.
Just gone on you there, mate, hasn't it? I thought you were getting emotional, actually. I think that's where it was.
It's like, it can finally kill these tanks.
I mean, EU are already out in one group. They got Fnatic tomorrow. Don't fancy the chances. I don't want to break it to you.
That's going to be tough. SKT... QG in there, CLG.
There's going to be a lot of NA greater than EU threats coming out this weekend, I feel.
Let's see if Ever can win this one. I don't think so. Right now, Team Solomid is still pretty far ahead, and they are putting Hansa in the bottom lane to split push.
I mean, this game, though, TSM got a decisive lead early game to an interesting adaptation on the whole lane swap. But if Ever get a similar draft in game 2, we could see this series go all 3 games, because they have made some really creative opportunities with the Bard ulti, you know, chaining with the Callisto ulti, zero hesitation. They also lose their blue buff here to Svenskeren, just adding a little bit of insult to injury this game.
That's just with the Q as well.
Bjergsen rewards him by leveling him up. Nice teammate.
It's like playing Digimon or something.
Good job, now level up.
Yep, you get to go to the next stage.
Beep, 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 beep. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, so the next thing for Team Solomid is obviously that Hansa is split pushing. That is good. You need the other 4 members to push another lane. So you have 2 lanes pushing down at once, so Ever is basically forced to sit in base. And you then have full Baron control. You try to create a pick with the Zillion ulti, or you get the one-on-one kill with Hansa. Then you can either open up the base, or you can then go and take that Baron 5 versus 4, 5 versus 3. That's the play you're looking for. So get a ping ward in the river near the Baron. They got a few around it. I want to see one actually just in front of the Baron pit. Also, make sure there's nothing.
Yeah, you want one if your purple side outside the Baron pit, so you see those wards being placed over. But you actually want in this meta like an actual warden in the pit because these nasty blue wards get placed there over and over, and you don't want to kind of walk in to check if there's a new one. But that puts you down 1 ward on your side stone, and jungler's only carrying like a few yellow wards. It's actually very hard to maintain complete vision control into triple blue screen again. So since they're kind of on the same page communication-wise, they should be able to stall out this Baron almost indefinitely.
Well, Doublelifter's got a QSS coming into this next fight, which will help him out considerably, especially considering the amount of CC on Ever. It's a different game entirely.
CC on TSM is too, because Bjergsen can shut down any entrance. Oh, with the bombs, good Bard ultimate there, forcing double. I like how he portals in to get in the proper range.
Flanking. Yellow
the
stuff
reaction comes out from TSM.
Coming around, Hauntzers with the TP. They have actually backed out nicely, and that's a cancelled TP. Hauntzers still pushing that mid lane, and he's completely unaffected. Ever all here. This is a 5-man. So TSM, they just simply want to distract them as much as possible while that inhibitor turret goes down, and it's going to work.
And this is the correct play. You see Hauntzzer at first, he's like, should I join the fight? Like, wait a minute. Last time I joined, it didn't work out. Cancel, stay, keep pushing. When you have so much lifesteal here, you actually want to trade on the towers and then back out and just lifesteal back, constantly sustain yourself, and Nautilus is just going to try and wave clear, and that's about it. Suddenly the base is open. You just needed that one move because you kept the pressure going in 2 lanes at once, and then you get your opening.
And Hauntzer's doing a great job at keeping 2 people over. Tempt is kind of like half-heartedly approaching this one. He's now finally come across there. Crazy comes in, nice catch there with the riposte. And TSM collect themselves an inhibitor turret and a tier 2 turret and back out without being absolutely touched at all. And they're going for Baron.
TSM have learned from their mistakes. The respect flash from Doublelift outside of the Bard ulti, the reaction teleport in case it was needed, but then they cancel. This is big. Hauntzzer game 1 did not make those decisions. So now we see the zone control from Zilean though. Bombs are down, so there's disengage.
Oh, Crazy's going to get caught out. There's the double bomb. He's in trouble. He will go down. That was a very easy pickup in the end. And that will be TSM undoubtedly finishing off this Baron. Are they going to challenge him? It's just going to be an attempt at a steal, maybe with a Lux laser, something like that. Ares maybe tries to dive in, which is what he's trying to do, and that's why they peel. That's why they throw him into the wolves. And TSM, easy pickup.
This time not on the same page. They use the Temper Fade, but at the same time, Ares goes into engage range, and the Cosmic Binding just completely whiffs at that point.
And full control now. Inhib is open. They're pinging it already. Got TP for Bjergsen in base. He even has home guard if needed. And you can just rush straight down. There's still, what, 28 seconds on the jungler, 10 seconds on Crazy. Open Inhib. You might even be able to take a bot lane tower here. You got minions coming.
Yeah, there's no reason to go back right now. They do finish the job on the inhibitor. They are going to pass around. Dragon is up. Just going to pass on by, do a drive-by on the red buff. And everything going TSM's way. They surely can't lose it this time.
Doa lied to us last time, that's why he's no longer on the desk. Let's see the fight. So this is just a disengage, it's the right move. Don't risk like a 50-50 smite with the enemy jungler or maybe a Lux ulti stealing. Just disengage, pick up the free kill, go back and do the same again, because now the enemy jungler comes in. This is the miscommunication, Mitch, you were talking about. Ulti at the same time as the jungler is trying to get close enough to potentially steal it. Obviously doesn't do anything and he just ends up dying.
Because in theory, obviously it's really hard to call from above. Tempered Fate can actually make this fight, instead of a 5v4, into, you know, disable 3 people and fight the other 2 on the side of Ever. And it can actually outnumber you for a short period of time and then get the numbers advantage. Still threaten the steal with Graves' ultimate combined with the Lux Laser, and then suddenly TSM is in a really tricky position. But yeah, it's very hard to make those calls because so rarely in scrims do you get into a situation where you have to contest 4v5 with these type of numbers with a Bard ultimate available. But it changes the entire approach to that stop.
How's he going?
It's a speedy Bjergsen replay.
Summer's Drift.
Fast and furious. Well, it says it's a replay, but I'm pretty sure we're live. I don't know. I'm not too sure what's going on now.
It's a test, Demon.
This is like, I'm trying to think.
We're testing your
I'm
memory
pretty sure
here.
I'm looking at the computer on the right that is live. I think the replay is a lie. There we go.
It's actually 0.5 seconds from the
Trying to
past.
cat me out, yeah. Either that or Kevin's like, I'll just keep it up right now. Catch them off guard. Speaking of people being caught off guard, Ares has to pull the ulti there as he got caught out with the double bomb. This is very aggressive. Hauntzzer in trouble.
Look at the lifesteal.
Look at the lifesteal. He just pulls back, goes back in, finishes the tower, and now Crazy has to respect him. He's so fed right now. He's going to pull the damage down onto Crazy. Crazy trying to distract him as long as possible. He's going to pull the attention of Temp down here, and that's going to leave the top lane fairly open. And that is a second inhibitor now for Hornzer.
And this is what I like so much about this build with so much lifesteal, because you're split pushing to kill towers, so you're gonna have to play
Good
super
ulti.
aggressive. Let's see what happens if they can actually go in.
It's a good ulti, but there's no follow-up. There's no damage.
No, you don't actually want to face call. You want to follow up with the Cosmic Binding, but as the bar right there, if you get face called, there's nothing you can do except throw your body in.
That's a nice double bomb. Temp getting caught by that one. Crazy taking a lot of damage. Having to tank it through. Yellowstar dives in. They're going to all pile onto one location. That will be one going down. Can they get the second? Aries going to back away. Big shield goes down onto Orton, but it doesn't matter. TSM have done the job. They're going to get themselves the Nexus turrets. They will get themselves game one unless anything crazy happens in the next 5 seconds. There we go. It is going to be cleanup time for TSM. They're going to take it 1-0 like they should have this morning in this best of 3.
I'm not buying into Crazy playing Nautilus, honestly. I think it ruins too much of what Ever likes to do in Korean Challenge.